Welcome back. We're here to break down the most important Azure updates from the past week. My goal is to get you up to speed so you can stay ahead, all without having to dig through release notes yourself.
Okay, so here's what we've got on tap. We're going to start with a really cool update for building safer AI apps. Then, we'll hit some core infrastructure improvements for security and networking. After that, we'll dive into a major change for the data platform, and then we'll wrap it all up and talk about what this means for your next project.
All right, first up, this is a fantastic update, especially if you're building applications with AI agents that, need to generate and run their own code. So Azure Container Apps Dynamic Sessions just got a lot easier to use with AI. Why? Because they now have built-in support for something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. Basically, this gives an AI agent a direct, standard way to say, hey, I need a safe place to run some code. Spin up one of these secure sandboxes, do its thing, and then have the whole environment just disappear. It's all automatic. Now, this slide really shows you why this matters. I mean, look at the contrast. If you let an AI just run code directly inside your main app server, and it hallucinates, well, it could delete files or leak your secrets. No thanks. But with dynamic sessions, you're running that exact same code in a completely isolated, temporary, throwaway container. The blast radius is just massively reduced.
And this is how you enable some really powerful new features safely. So, picture this. You're building a data analysis assistant. A user uploads a file, the AI writes some Python code to process it, and runs that code inside one of these dynamic sessions. It sends the results back to the user, and then poof, the entire sandbox environment is just gone. Nothing sticks around, and your main application was never, ever exposed.
Okay, so moving on from securing the app layer, let's zoom out and look at your foundational cloud security posture. We've got two really important updates this week for governance and for network security.
First up, this is a huge quality of life improvement for anyone who deals with governance. Azure Policy assignments for Resource Manager, the policies that control your core infrastructure, they now typically kick in within about 5 minutes. That's a big drop.
This is a bigger deal than it sounds. If you're rolling out a policy to, say, block public IPs on new VMs, you want that to take effect now, not in 30 minutes. This faster enforcement closes those security gaps way quicker, and it means you can finally, officially get rid of that old sign out and sign back in trick from your runbooks.
And sticking with security, the draft and deploy feature for Azure Firewall Policy is now generally available. It's graduated from preview, so it is fully supported and ready for your production workloads.
And this new workflow is just so much safer. Instead of making 5 separate rule changes and redeploying the firewall 5 different times, you can now batch all of your changes into a single draft, have your team review them, and then deploy it all at once in a single atomic step. It is way faster and far, far less risky.
All right, let's shift gears over to networking. If you're someone who relies on ExpressRoute for that hybrid connection back to your on-premises data centers, this next update is definitely for you.
So the old basic SKU for public IPs is being retired. That means if you're using it, you are going to have to migrate. The good news is Microsoft has released a really clear, managed process to move your ExpressRoute gateways over to the modern, more resilient standard SKU. You kind of have to do this for long-term support and reliability anyway. And the best part here is that Azure is really handling most of the heavy lifting. This 4-stage process lets you check your setup, have Azure build out a new gateway behind the scenes, and then it seamlessly shifts your traffic over. Only after you're happy do you commit the change and the old gateway goes away. It's designed to minimize disruption in a big way. Azure Databricks Lakebase is now generally available as a first-party Azure service. So what in the world is it? Well, think of Lakebase as a serverless, super scalable database that's compatible with PostgreSQL. It's designed for your transactional application workloads, your OLTP, but, and this is the key, it's built directly inside the same Databricks platform you're already using for all your big data analytics and AI. So the crucial point here is this unification. Instead of managing a whole separate farm of databases for your apps and then running these complex ETL pipelines to copy data over to your analytics stack, you can now just run both types of workloads on the same single governed platform. This just cuts down on so much data movement, complexity, and frankly, administrative headaches.
And this unlocks some incredibly powerful DevOps workflows. I mean, imagine your product team needs to test a new feature. They can create an instantaneous, lightweight clone of the entire production database, run all their tests against it in total isolation, and then just throw it away. all without touching the live system or messing around with manual backup and restore scripts. It's pretty amazing.
All right, kicking things off with update number 6. And this is a really practical one for anyone working with data on Azure. We're talking about the new general availability of updates to Databricks Workspace network configurations.
So, what does this actually let you do? Well, in short, you can now change the networking for a Databricks workspace that already exists. This means you can finally move it from a Databricks-managed VNet right into your own. Or you can even tweak the VNet and subnet setup if it's already in one of yours.
And this is why it's such a game changer. No more rebuilds. Seriously, before this, if your networking needs changed, you pretty much had to rebuild the entire workspace from scratch. What a headache. That pain is gone. Now you can just retrofit an existing workspace into your standard network, apply your custom NSGs, or hook it up to ExpressRoute, all while keeping every single one of your jobs and notebooks totally safe.
And here's a perfect real-world example of where this shines. Imagine your company's security team lays down a new rule. All data services must live in the central hub VNet. Instead of a massive disruptive migration project, you can now just move the existing workspace. You just shift it into that hub, apply the new policies, and your data teams can keep on working without missing a beat.
Next up, update number 7. This one's for all of you running Kubernetes. We're talking about a much more efficient way to scale your workloads with the next generation of virtual nodes built right on top of Azure container instances.
So, this is a pretty big leap forward. You see, the old way was this legacy add-on for AKS, and frankly, it had quite a few limitations. This new generation, though? It's a much more Kubernetes-native approach that you manage with Helm, and it runs on the serverless Azure container instances. This gets rid of a ton of those old restrictions.
You know, this really gets at a classic cloud problem, right? How do you handle those totally unpredictable traffic spikes in Kubernetes without just constantly over-provisioning your clusters and burning money?
And the solution here is actually pretty clever. You size your main AKS cluster, your regular virtual machines, for your normal, everyday baseline traffic. Then, when a sudden burst of traffic hits, you just let the serverless ACI absorb it all. The best part? You get all that burst capacity when you need it, but you only pay for it when you're actually using it. All right, data engineers, listen up, because update number 8 is a huge one for you. Power Query is officially becoming a programmable tool inside of Microsoft Fabric, and it's all thanks to a new API that's just hit public preview.
So let's break this down. The new feature is a REST API called the Execute Query API. It lets you take your Power Query M scripts and run them programmatically, completely outside of the UI. And here's the really important technical bit. It streams the results back to you as a high-performance Apache Arrow stream, which is just tailor-made for fast data processing.
So why should you care? Well, it's all about moving from clicks to code. If your team has spent years building up complex M scripts for data cleansing, you can now reuse all of that amazing logic instead of having to rewrite it all in Spark or SQL. It means you can centralize your business rules right inside Fabric and then trigger them from anywhere, from a pipeline, a notebook, or really any service that can make a simple HTTP call.
And check this out. Here's how it all plugs together in a really slick, modern data pipeline. You could have a Fabric pipeline call the API to run your M script. The perfectly clean data then gets streamed directly into a Spark notebook for some more advanced work, and Spark then writes the final result to a lakehouse. But it doesn't have to stop there. You could then have an Azure machine learning workflow automatically kick off and start training a new model on that fresh, clean data.
And for our final update, number 9, we're looking at a pair of brand new tools that are going to be a huge help for any integration engineers working with logic apps.
So this is actually a 2-for-1. We've got 2 new tools that are really designed to bridge that gap between your traditional legacy integrations and this new world of AI-powered automation.
Okay, first up, we have the Logic Apps MCP Server Wizard. So what does it do? Well, think of it this way. It gives you a simple guided setup in the Azure portal that takes one of your existing Logic apps and basically wraps it up so that AI agents, like a custom copilot you've built, can call it as a tool to get things done in the real world.
And the second tool is all about modernization. It's the BizTalk Migration Starter Toolkit. This is a set of open-source utilities built specifically to help you convert those old, legacy BizTalk server artifacts, things like orchestrations and maps, into modern logic apps. This is really about giving you a huge head start on that move to the cloud.
But the real magic is how you can use these two tools together. A company could be using the toolkit to start migrating its old BizTalk processes over to Logic Apps, and at the exact same time, they could use the MCP wizard to expose some of those new Logic Apps as tools for their internal AI assistants, letting people do things like just typing "send this invoice to SAP" into a chat window.
All right, we have covered a lot of ground. We've talked about building safer AI apps by sandboxing code, closing security gaps faster with policy and firewall updates, modernizing your hybrid network, and unifying your transactional and analytical data platforms.
We've covered some major developments in Databricks networking, a much more cost-effective way to scale AKS, a super powerful new API in Microsoft Fabric, and some fantastic new tooling for Logic Apps integration.
Hey, if this was useful and you want to stay on top of all the important Azure changes each and every week, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.